Morning. This is sheer obedience. I had just recorded my testimony and the recording for Friday, and the Spirit just reminded me, because He had mentioned before, reminded me that it was another testimony that He wanted me to share. There was a season in my life that I did not have somewhere to call home. I was in Barbados at the time. I was much younger, way younger. And I had the business, and we ran into some financial difficulties, and I had to give up my apartment. And this was at the word of the Lord. This was His instruction: give up your apartment. And I did. And He also instructed me not to run back to my mother's home. I could have. I have family in Barbados. I could have gone to a number of different people or friends, but He told me, do not give up your apartment, and do not. And it reminded me of when He called Abraham. So I did that, and there was a season where I didn't have somewhere to lay my head at the beginning of the day, but by the end of each day, God provided. And I remember there was one particular day I had now moved from where God had provided for me to stay, and I didn't know where I was going to sleep. So I was prepared to sleep in the salon, okay? A lot of people don't know this story. I was prepared to sleep in the salon. And I went to the salon and got myself cleaned up and everything, and I lay myself out on the couch to go to sleep. Within moments of saying my prayer, reading the Bible, my phone rang. I answered the phone. It was a friend of mine who was saying to me that her husband had to be admitted to this clinic for some kind of testing, and she wanted me to pray. So I asked her, where are you now? She told me she was not very far away. And I said, okay, I'm gonna come to you. So I got up, got myself together, and I went to her. When I went to her, I prayed with the husband. Now we had to leave, and she was saying, Deborah, can you come and spend the night with me? I don't want to be alone. Talk about the grace of God. This young lady did not know my story. And I said, sure, I can come with you. Immediately, I went with her. Now, I had my stuff in the car already, okay? And I went with her. And we came in the house and we talked until the wee hours of the morning, because she really wasn't sleeping. And then she said, okay, let me get you something, a blanket and so on, so you can sleep. So I lay there and stuff. And I went into the car, and I came back in because we had something to eat as well, because it was progressing quickly. Went to the car, got my toothbrush and so on, I came back in. And then she caught herself. She said, Deborah, oh, how do you have a toothbrush and all of this? How did you, and I change your clothes and all that? And then I shared my story with her. She was so flabbergasted. She said, oh my gosh, you're going through this, and I'm calling you to pray for myself and my husband. That night, I did not have to sleep in the salon. I didn't have to sleep in my car, because God provided, and it was His grace. I allowed grace to flow through me to that couple, to pray with them and to hold her hand in the process and to keep her company. And in turn, God extended grace to me. The backside of that story afterwards, she spoke to her husband, and her husband's family was leaving the country for 6 weeks. And she came and said, Deborah, they're leaving and they wanted us to keep the house, but it's too far to drive back and forth. Would you like to keep this house? Hey, look at the grace of God again. I went and I kept that beautiful house. This place was like a mansion. I kept that beautiful house for 6 weeks. And after that family came back, they came and said, oh, this house is so clean, it's so tidy, all of this. And they said, we have a friend and we're looking after their home not far from here. Would you like to go and keep that as well? Look at the grace of God. So then I went to that other location. I was there for probably about 2 months or so. And then God opened a door for me. I was able to rent my own space. This is a long testimony that I have cut short, but for 9 months of my life, I did not have a fixed address to call home. And every night of those 9 months, I had somewhere to lay my head, and I slept in places that I could not have otherwise afforded. And God opened a door, and He did that. He told me not to go back to my mom because He wanted to show me His grace in my life. And in the end, eventually, years after, I came to a point where I had the opportunity to open my business in Boston. And I don't know about you, if you've ever had an opportunity to live in the USA, it is not the same as the Caribbean. God was preparing me to move to America, to deal with the reality that I was the only person there. I had no family there with me at all, that is blood relatives. And in those seasons of my life in America, having my business over there, I faced challenges. But you know what I did? I drew on the testimony of those 9 months when God kept me, when he said, do not run home to your mother, I will keep you. And I had that testimony to stand upon. And so he brought me through every challenge and every circumstance victoriously while I was in Boston. God is an amazing God. And like I said, this is sheer obedience. This is not a testimony that I usually share, and you can understand why. But the Lord prompted me as I was packing up the easel just now. He said, I told you to share this testimony. And so here I am. This is an extra testimony. And for whomever it is for, trust in the Lord. His grace is sufficient to keep you. And it's not so much about not having somewhere to lay your head. It is more about experiencing God at a level that you've never experienced him before. And it's about preparing you for what is to come. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.